best by serving. A very good morning to one and all. ICA British Council's International Dimension in Schools Ideas Journey 2020. Activity 6. Art Forms. That's Folk Fiesta. For the 4 different countries, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Africa, will be explored by our children of 6th and 7th standard. Yes. Attitude, skill, knowledge, all these will be learned and developed, inculcated in every student of 6th and 7th. Here, our delegates, that is, our own country, India, Mrs. Shamna Farooq, will be leading the team. And Nepal, Mrs. Beena Katie will be the delegate. Sri Lanka, Mrs. Shalini Menon, and Africa, Mrs. Hasna Shanir. You know what? The attitude to love the tribal community, to accept them, their life on earth along with us, will be instilled in our child through this activity. And knowledge, yes, the various tribal communities in different parts of the world, concentrating on all these 4 countries, will be learnt by our child. Yes, and skill. You know what? The folk dances and tribal games, the folk games, will be learnt by our children. And here the particularity is that we, ICA English Higher Secondary School, in collaboration with the school in Nepal, will be leading our children to learn the various folk dances from Nepal and the various tribal games. And what all the government and the non-government organization has given to promote the aid will be learnt by our children. They will do a survey, they will do a graphical representations, and of course prepare scrapbooks on various tribal communities around the world to be exhibited. Folk games competitions will be held in our school premises by our PET, Mr. Salih, who will be guiding our children with the rules and regulations of the games to be followed. And accordingly, they will gain the spirit to learn the folk games. We all love games, but learning tribal and folk games is indeed an excitement, isn't it? Yes. And by the way, the collaborated school from Nepal, yes, our delegates and their teachers will discuss and get a common subject regarding the tribal community with the folk dance and the folk game that needs to be taught to each other, wherein our children are inquisitively waiting to meet the children of Nepal, to go in for peer sharing, to gain knowledge, to develop their skills, and of course their big attitude. Yes, this is where we promote peer sharing. So, incorporating the 4 subjects, science, social science, English and arts and folks and games will be incorporated in the academic syllabus by inculcating the international standards, international dimensions, making a child to think critically and innovatively. And also they'll be exhibiting the different costumes of the folk dances. The different items of the games will be exhibited. And here is where I believe you parents will come forward to help us, to support us, and be part of us so that the child feels secured with the delegates and teachers on one side, with you parents on one side, and of course the members from the society, and they will exhibit the Nepal folk dance, inculcating in the Kalotsav programs that we had conducted, and they will be exhibiting it to you through learning them in person. And not only that, this art forms, the speciality is that of all the activities, it is related to entertainment, the development of health, the promotion of broad sense, bringing in a positive attitude, and of course, folk dance is nonetheless than other dances. Tribal, though they are kept away from us society, we bring them together by creating the sense of uniqueness for these tribal communities around the world. So wishing all the best and expecting each one of us will help our child to grow and face all the challenges on the international grounds. Good day, Jai Hind.
On. Here, the curtain raises for Activity 6, Folk Fiesta. Folk Fiesta, celebration of folk art. Well, first let me introduce our delegates for this activity. Mrs. Shalini Menon, Mrs. Hasna, Mrs. Shamna, and myself Beena, delegate for country Nepal. Along with us, we have Mr. Salik, physical education teacher, and Mr. Salim for arts. Good. Folk Fiesta. As I told you before, it is a celebration of folk arts. Here, through this activity, our students are going to explore different types of folk dances and games that have survived generation. Countries opted for this study: Africa, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Students of class 6 and 7 will be participating in this activity. Around 314 students will be participating in this research. Our students are going to learn in depth, going to explore different types of dances, different types of folk games in those countries. Well, with us, we have Shalini ma'am to give you a clear picture about the description of the activity Folk Fiesta. So let's join her. Over to Shalini ma'am.
I am Shalini Menon, delegate for country Sri Lanka. Students would research the origin, history and culture of various folk dance forms and games in India, Africa, Nepal and Sri Lanka. Based on the research information, students will develop PPTs. Our physical education instructor will give an awareness video on the history of indigenous games in the above mentioned countries. Based on the awareness video, students will prepare scrapbook. Students will run an exhibition of various folk cultural costumes and accessories. Photos and articles of the exhibition will be handed over to the local newspaper agents, which will be published accordingly. Teachers will show videos on various initiatives undertaken by the government and non-government organizations in the above mentioned countries by respecting all the tribal communities. We have Hasna ma'am to describe the expected learning outcomes of this activity.
Now you all got a clear picture of this activity. So what I am going to tell you is about what you are getting through this project. Yes, from this activity our students are going to learn mainly 3 things. That is aptitude, skill and knowledge. Well, I am Hasna, delegate for country Africa. The activity 6, that means Folk Fiesta, is based on the topic art forms. The title of the activity itself suggests that it's all about the celebration of art forms. Of course, art is something like that everyone loves to see and to do. In this activity, we are aiming to provide worldwide knowledge to students about folk dance and games in different countries. When it comes to attitude, by doing this activity, our students will develop a sense of interest and respect towards art forms. This project has a lot of activities for students to do, like exhibition, PPT, folk dance and games, chart works, etc. All these activities will help our students to enhance their artistic and creative skills by learning folk dance and games of these countries. One of the interesting things is that in this activity, our students will have the opportunity to learn and to perform folk dance and games, which will enhance their memory, health, confidence, flexibility. So overall, this activity is a mix-up of cultural events as well as sports.
Delegate for country India. Activity 6 is not an in-house activity. In this activity, we are collaborating with schools in Nepal, one of the suggested countries to study. In order to do this, teachers of both schools will mutually decide common activities to conducted on both folk dances and games. And the researched information will be shared with partner school through video conferences. In order to do this collaboration, students have to do lots of activities like PPT, chart, folk dances and games. And our 4 core subjects are social science, science, English and physical education.
Hi, I am Muhammad Saleh, the delegate of Activity 6, Folk Fiesta. It's my pleasure to be a part of this activity. The purpose of this activity to provide worldwide knowledge to students about folk dances and games in various countries like India, Africa, Sri Lanka and Nepal. As a physical education teacher, I am so thrilled for the organization of folk games competition of India, Sri Lanka, Africa and Nepal. We have to make a research based on the information regarded about folk games of these countries. There are plenty of traditional games are there in these countries. In Africa, Boju Boju, Mambe, Ambe. In Sri Lanka, Kottapora, Olinda Kelia. In Nepal, Gotta, Yaguti. In India, Seven Stone, Dog and Bone, Coco, etc. The health-related benefit of these games are to improve their muscular strength, to improve their coordination ability, improve their speed, agility, motor skills, also to improve their immunity power, improve their creation ability and so on.
Good morning. Be the best by serving. Dear students, parents and teachers, ICABC IDS ജേണിയുടെ ഭാഗമായി 7 അപ്രൂവ്ഡ് ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായി ആർട്ട് ആൻഡ് ക്രാഫ്റ്റ് എക്സിബിഷൻ 1 മുതൽ 9 വരെയുള്ള ക്ലാസ്സിലെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. സ്റ്റിൽ മോഡൽ, ചാർട്ട് വർക്ക്, സ്ക്രാപ്പ് ബുക്ക്, കൊളാഷ്, ക്രാഫ്റ്റ് വർക്ക് എന്നീ ഒട്ടനവധി പ്രോഗ്രാമുകൾ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യണം. അതിനുവേണ്ട ഗൈഡൻസ്, ഹെൽപ്പുകൾ വേണമെങ്കിൽ എന്നെ കോൺടാക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാവുന്നതാണ്. എൻ്റെ നമ്പർ ഞാൻ പറയാം: 9446996614. താങ്ക് യു.